Om. 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 साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। Sai Ram, our humble pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagawan. Here we are on yet another beautiful Sunday afternoon that he has blessed us to have one of his gems to be with us week after week. And every week it is better than the previous one. New learnings, lot of things that we get to listen to Sai Bhagavatam, and we pick up a few things that we try to practice to become better, which is what Swami wants all of us to be. So today is going to be something that I have been looking forward to for several months now. For whatever Swami's reasons, he kept postponing it, and then finally he made it happen. Okay, when I had to be physically in Chennai also. Okay, right. So physically in Chennai, but still we are in a virtual environment. Unfortunately, I'm not able to be physically with Brother Vasu, who is here with us. Okay. Brother Vasu's background, if you look at it, okay, extremely blessed to have been part of the Sai Alumni, Swami's institution. More than that, has been the kind of divine experiences that he has been exposed to in our beloved Bhagawan's presence, the kind of love that Bhagawan has showered on him, you know, partly by giving him such a beautiful and mellifluous voice that we are all going to listen to. I have been fortunate to listen to it a few times and then mesmerized by it. Okay. And more than anything was selecting him for a very coveted role, you know. It was something considered to be very, very special role. Okay, whenever a drama was enacted in Bhagawan's presence, that was of the Adi Sankaracharya. The drama itself was a very, very special one. And to be selected to be Adi Sankaracharya itself, we can imagine the kind of lessons that Bhagawan would have imparted. Okay, I have heard of some of this in Brother Vasu's previous satsangs, and very, very eager to, I think we can listen to it any number of times. Okay, and then every time we feel the same amount of bliss as before, right? Okay, Brother Vasu has been with the Sundaram Bhajan Group for many, 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 many years. See, one of the things with Sai Alumni is it was Bhagavan's choice of picking up children to be with him, to learn with him. But it was his mission that the children should go back into the world and continue to practice what they learned and spread his glory and teachings, right? There are very few of those who have been very, very committed in doing this, and Brother Vasu is one of them, who has been with the Sundaram Bhajan Group for many, 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 many years now. He is the convener at the moment. He is also coordinating the Bridge Across Time. All of us used to be eagerly waiting for the new releases of Bridge Across Time. He is convening that also now. So an integral part of the Bhajan Group. The reason we are having this satsang earlier today is because Brother Vasu needs to go back. He cannot miss a Sunday satsang at Sundaram. So he needs to go back for the practice and the bhajans. So that's why we are having this satsang earlier today. So very, very eager, and I'm sure we'll be listening to some beautiful rendering from Brother Vasu. besides all those lovely experiences. So Sai Ram, Brother Vasu, thank you so much for taking your time. And it's all up to you. And we are all going to be muted now. Sai Ram.
Tvameva mata pita tvameva tvameva bandhuscha Saka tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam Mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam Mama deva deva Tvameva sarvam Mama deva deva Shri Sai Deva. This sloka can be brought in just two Sanskrit words, Ananyata Ananya. Wonderful sloka because to start on a evening session like this, it only shows that Bhagawan has been everything for us. So that is the undivided devotion that all of us offer at his lotus feet. Swami, most respectful and prayerful salutations at your lotus feet. Respected elders, Sai brothers and sisters, Sai Ram to all of you. Sathya brother and all of you, very, very thanks to have invited me. I know this has been a very, very session which you have asked me for quite some time, like you said in your brief. But I think Swami has made it a point that I do participate in the satsang today. Thanks once again, Sathya and all of you. We often call all these sessions as samarpan. You know, a lot of countries, lot of centers do offer this, and they call it as a Sai Samarpan. No, we offer it. Samarpan, we all know. Samarpan, we think that it is an offer to Swami. It is a garland of some offering to Swami. But if you go deep into what it really means, we all know how a living being or a creature would denote to us. Say, for instance, a cow or a tree or a plant, anything. It can be a living creature, non-living creature, but if you look deep into it, what they sacrifice and what they offer to us. A cow, it gives milk to us. A tree gives a shade to us. It gives a fruit or a vegetable to us. So it all has some intrinsic value. It sacrifices the I would name it as a sacrifice. It sacrifices itself to give joy, and it partakes all it can to people. Why I'm referring to all this is, I'm coming to that. There is a inner significance of a samarpan than just an offer. A mother is a classic example. A mother is a classic example for all of us. She sacrifices herself to the child. If a living creature can do all these sacrifices, as a human being who would have the sixth sense of discrimination power, etc., and what should be the level and the state, we are almost nearing God. So what should be the state of sacrifice in us? So that sacrifice, I personally call it as a samarpan. The moment you offer, you dedicate, you sacrifice yourself. And to that God, today, I pray that He gives us that enough strength and blessings to sacrifice ourselves to His mission and also to His very avataric sense of transforming oneself. So if we could do that, I think Swami's mission would have been successful. On a very good evening on one of those portico days in 80s, why I'm saying this is, I don't know, so I will intersperse with Tamil here and there. எனக்கு பேச தெரியாது, but I will try my best. அதுதான் எனக்கு ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள், ஒரு இன்சிடென்ட் ஞாபகம் வருது சுவாமியோட போர்ட்டிகோல. Prashanthinilayam, it was in one of the evening sessions. So on the kalatla, the bhajans used to take place inside the hall, the prayer hall. We finish the bhajans and go there and inside hall and meditate and do namaskar and come. So that's the prayer hall where the bhajans used to take place. Ipa ellame Kulwant hall, we see the Swami's Sannidhi and do it. So in those days, boys used to be seated on the veranda where the Swami's Samadhi is right now. And evenings used to be blessed because once we finish our college, we rush there for evening darshan and bhajans. And one of those evenings, Swami was preparing himself for the Dashera celebration, and he was looking forward for those days to pick up few boys and speak. Every day there used to be a conference, and boys used to get chances to speak before Swami's speech on various occasions, and one such was the Dashera celebrations. Swami picked up one boy, probably like me, who didn't know how to speak, and Swami actually made that boy wanted to speak during those Dashera celebrations, and that boy was nervous. He couldn't tell Swami that he has not spoken, but Swami knows if he is giving chance, he knows how he can speak through him. So he was actually, if Swami has told, he has to take the order. So that day Swami was spending a lot of time with him there on the portico, and as he was talking to the boys, the evening bhajan time started. And during those days, there has to be a flute session just before the bhajan. So if 5:30 was the bhajan, 5:15, two elderly gentlemen used to play flute in Swami's bhajan session. And just as the flute started, Swami sweetly came near that boy and asked, he heard the flute sound from the speaker. So Swami beautifully looked up and said, where is the sound coming from? So that boy, obviously we would say it's coming from inside or it's coming from the speaker, etc. But Swami had a very a profound meaning there. Swami said the sound is coming from the speaker, but the source is within. So the source is within. So very powerful. Swami plays. He makes spirituality and divinity so simple, and that's his beautiful and childish the way that he gives his message. So beautifully he said that the sound is coming from the speaker, but the source is within. So I only pray that today he uses me and speaks through me, and I'm sure that he is going to be the source in me to say what I had in my mind for this satsang this evening. This avatar is very unique in every sense, because he has lived his life the way that all of us pick up few things everywhere, and this avatar has infinite powers. All of us know, and each of us have our own relationship, our own experiences with Bhagawan. Avatar's infinite power is something which each of us have experienced, and it is only used for certain very noble cause. So in our case, this entire mission that Swami has brought in itself is something where all of us know that only this avatar can do this. So when I go back in my memories, in those summer days, in Swami used to pick up few boys to Kodaikanal, Ooty, etc. And he used to travel from Brindavan. So in those days, so he used to pick up few boys and go in a bus. So one of those evenings, Swami took a few boys and guests to Bandipur forest. And the evening was around Swami seated, and people were sitting around him in the forest. And Swami, look at Swami, how he truly shows us that he is divine. So one of the boys had the Polaroid camera. So in those days, all these used to be very luxurious, and it gives an instant feeling to all of us, because the photograph comes out instantly as a service. So boys, one of them had it, and one of those boys requested Swami for individual photographs. All these are memories in our lives, and one after another, Swami permitted. Then they were taking photograph, and Swami also gave us individual photograph, and he the boy gave one of those photographs to Swami and said, Swami looked at it and said, he's looking at it. He was looking at the photographs, and he asked the boys, do you want to know really who I am? See, because avataric demonstrations can happen anytime. So anytime, and we'll have to be very, very, what should I say? Those moments are where when you are around Swami, you have to be very, very, I would say, you have to be very sharp in picking up what Swami says because very, very sharp words comes out from Swami's mouth. And so he said, you want to really know who I am? So Swami, all the boys didn't know what Swami was saying, because he would seldom say like this. So he looked at the boys. There were guests sitting. So he started rubbing the photograph on his thigh. He started rubbing his photograph on the thigh. So they were all looking what Swami doing with the photograph. So something is going to happen. They all know that something is going to happen. So as he was rubbing it, his robe was getting wrinkled, etc. So one of the gentlemen who was sitting there was trying to adjust the robe, because we don't want Swami to look nice. So he was trying to touch him. Swami said, no, don't touch me. So he was rubbing the photograph, and sweetly he blew it like this and showed it. He saw it and he showed it to everybody. Believe it or not, that Swami's photograph became Dattatreya. Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwara. It turned out to be a Dattatreya, and he said, "This is my power. This is my power." And he looked at the gentleman and said, "If you had touched me, you would not have taken the energy. You would not have taken the energy that I was emitting." So that is the infinite power of Swami, and we all don't know. So even now we think Swami has lived his physical presence, and as a saint he has gone. But the mission, the avataric demonstration of his love and the way that he has transformed millions of devotees, I think that is the proof, and that is the path in which I think all of us should tread on. So the mission, the avataric sense is only for noble cause, and that's something which it came to my memory, that Swami he's got a tremendous energy, tremendous power, and it has been used for this mission, and we have been part of this mission, and we have to tread the path and try and transform ourselves and show this to the people at large, because people now in this generation are not seeing Swami. The boys, the children are not seeing Swami, and this is what I feel that all of us should live this path and show truly the love and the way Swami has showed his divinity to each other. So that's the greatest responsibility as Sai organization and Sai members of this this structure. Another incident that comes to me, because Swami has a unique way of giving a message to boys, because he doesn't believe in having a discourse to share it to boys, but the way every day that he mixes with our boys and gives a message itself gives a lot of a fun element with a fun element, and also he provides that message to all of us. So that's how the students' life used to be in Brindavan as well as in Puttaparthi. In one of those summer days in Prashanthinilayam, um, summertime, and Swami's devotee used to be one of the ice cream manufacturers. So you must have all heard about, in those days, Joy ice cream used to be very, very popular in India, and so the owner of the Joy ice cream was a devotee, and he used to come to Prashanthinilayam and Brindavan. And not only that, he would get cartons of fresh ice creams to boys. So that's another moment of, they also want to show their love to Swami through all these gestures. And we have been very fortunate, because Swami, like mother, would want to give something to boys always, because we have come here to study there as children. So a mother, how Swami and mother would look at. So Swami used to take care of all the boys, and the way that he has established the kitchen in each one of those hostels is something mind-boggling. The way that he has taken care, the way that is. So one of those evenings, Swami, the Joy ice cream manufacturer, the devotee of Swami, brought a lot of ice cream to be shared with boys. So as usual, Swami started distributing the ice cream boxes, and people were happy, eat, because something which you can't carry to a hostel, because you have to instantly eat and throw the box, because it would melt, right? So Swami said, eat. So people started eating. So not thinking what Swami would do next. Okay, right? So we were all busy eating. So quickly Swami looked at one of those boys and, as usual, asked a question. What do you think God is? Simple question. There's only like eating ice cream. What do you think God is. So people were only trying to finish the ice cream before it melts. But Swami was asking this question. So it's better to keep quiet. Huh? Whenever Swami asks something, just keep quiet, because we know that answer is going to come from Swami only. So it's better to keep quiet. But nevertheless, some people here and there would say some answers to it. So Swami looked at the boys and said, he smiled because, see, he's trying to, this is finally the message. Huh? So this is the message that he was trying to drive home to the boys. So Swami smiled and said, he equated God to an ice cream. So see, look at how he had the point to be given. So he said, God is very, very soft like ice cream. God is very sweet like ice cream. God is very cool like ice cream. And he gives joy to everyone. Very, very powerful. Huh? So God is very sweet, soft, cool, and he is Sachitananda. So he distributes nothing but pure bliss to all of us. So very, very simple, but the way that he plays around with the boys and the way that he gives his message is phenomenal. So I'm these are things which you would want. I try to, whenever I get a chance, I try and collect these information from my dictionary, from my mind, and jot down and kind of tell devotees. So such is the love of Swami. So when he talks to boys, he ensures that he gives a message, and he also ensures that he takes care of us physically through all these gifts and prasadam that he gives us. So that's the relationship a student in his institute had in those days. So we were all privileged, and I must say it is only but the my parental blessings, and I would only say that it is Swami's. Um, what should I say? It's Sankalpa. I would say that Sankalpa to have brought me into his institution. Having said that, in my life, like Sathya brother said, I joined Swami's Institute in '83, and no wonder I was a Chennaiite and born and brought up in Chennai. But my parents used to be very, very ardent devotees of Mahapariva, and used to be very, very noble and pious, unlike me. And probably that's one reason why Swami picked me, and Mahapariva also blessed me to go over to Brindavan and join Swami's college. So that with his blessings, my parents did put me in the Brindavan, and I was in the last batch of PUC in '83. So so Swami actually didn't come for those couple of years to Brindavan. So we were all yearning, but nevertheless, I got a chance to be part of Swami's 60th birthday celebrations. But not as a singer, but I had somewhere in my life, there is always a destiny that played. So in my life, I had the beauty of learning Mridangam in Chennai for 4 years. So it's with the basic thing. So I had carried a Mridangam also. So at that time, there were not many people who played Mridangam in Parthi and Vrindavan. So I got a chance to just play a few rhythms there, and I joined the 60th birthday Swami's music program. So that's how I got the entry into the doors of close proximity of Swami. Swami started knowing me through that journey, and the moment the 60th birthday celebrations got over, Swami then came back to Brindavan and spent a long time there. And that's when I started singing in the presence of Swami. So that is something which I will not forget in my life, because moments where it used to be a very, very close. So unlike where in Parthi, where it's a large gathering. So in those days, the Swami used to call us inside the Trayee sanctum. So Trayee Brindavan, where it's an evening with Swami. So Swami will be seated around him. The boys like Gopikas used to surround him and have the evening satsangs with him. So the way those are things which goes in one's mind, and I'm really very happy to partake those incidents. So in the evening when Swami was sitting in the Trayee Vrindavan, that's when I started singing there in front of him. And the first bhajan I still recollect in my life used to be Shri Kari Kripa Kari Kshemam Kari Saishwari. I'll try to sing just a couple of lines. Shri Kari Kripa Kari Kshemam Kari Saishwari Shankari Abhayam Kari Shubham Kari Saishwari Shri Kari Kripa Kari Shriman Kari Saishwari Pandava Keli Priyakari Bhairavi Pralayam Kari Sarveshwari Sundari Daya Kari Maheshwari. So this was my first bhajan before Swami, and won't believe there is always a connect in life. When I went to see after um, my MBA, so when my parents were uh, looking out for a wife, for a girl for me, you won't believe. See how Swami connects people. So I'm trying to connect this bhajan to my actual my wife, because the moment when I went to see her, you won't believe she sang this bhajan uh, to us, to me and my mother. So when I immediately said it's nothing but Swami Sankalpam. So this is the girl and this is the person that I should marry. So that's a divine knot that in my life. So this song has a special memory, not just for me singing as a maiden attempt to Swami, but I think reverse also. So my wife also has done a maiden attempt to tie a knot to me. So that's a divine Sankalpa. Having said that, I think Swami made me sing in Prashanthinilayam and Brindavan in his presence. So we all think a bhajan session purely for young boys, children, and all of us. A bhajan session is something where I consider as an engagement with Swami. So it's a divine engagement with Swami. You try and converse with Swami, the bhavam, the feeling that you have with Swami and nothing else. And through that, you also communicate with the devotees. So it's the highest spiritual sadhana in one's life. And that's why our Sai bhajans have been so melodious and simple, and it's been powerful. It's been one of those satsangs which every spiritual organization would look forward, because if it's a Sai bhajans, they say, please, we love Sai bhajans. So nobody would say that don't sing Sai bhajans. So any spiritual wing, any spiritual organization that you listen, the first thing when you talk about Swami, they talk about bhajans, then comes the service. So this I call it as a seva. So we all think a seva would mean that you go physically drive a service or take up something. But for a music group or a music bhajan singer, this itself would call as a seva. If you do the job, if you practice, sing well, I always feel that whenever I sing before Swami, I pray just before the bhajan, I connect with Swami and say, Swami, you are singing. I'm not going to sing. You are singing inside me, from inside me. And this song should give you bliss. I only pray, Swami, you are listening to it. This song that I'm going to sing is going to give you bliss. Please ensure that that is the quality, that is the output, that's the bhavam in which I'm going to render it. Please ensure that you sing through me. And this way, you please ensure that the song gives bliss to all the devotees present here. So when just before I sing, I pray this way to Bhagawan. So that's a conversation. So when you sing just before the bhajan, you create always there is a clean slate. So this is the clean slate in which I would pray and sing a bhajan. And I'm sorry, I'm being little very informal. So I thought, do be it, Sathya brother, because that way we drive home something which, if I'm able to prove a point, I thought it would be good for all of us in terms of picking up here and there few things in our lives. So, so that's how I converse with Bhagawan in every bhajan session. And Swami, in those days, the way that a bhajan session is done in Trayee, because Trayee is not a very formal sessions, it's an informal session. And Swami, we will give talam to Swami, cymbals to Swami. Swami will play fast to a singer, etc. In those days, not only that, Swami will select the boys. You will go ready with the bhajans, practice bhajans. You will put on some order, etc. But when you go there, the order sometimes can go different way. So in the evening session, Swami used to be very informal, and Swami used to select the boys. You sing, you sing, you sing. So why I'm saying this is concentration during bhajans is very important. So a singer or even a devotee following a bhajan cannot have anything in our thoughts, but just concentrate on Swami. Whether you follow or whether you sing or whether you play an instrument, the concentration should be only on Swami and the task given to him. So why I'm saying this is, so because Swami used to select the boys, and uh, I'm just connecting few incidents here and there. One, just before, when during the Atirudram in Chennai in 2011, when Swami was here in January for almost 11 to about 2 weeks here, one of those morning sessions, Swami was, we had the morning bhajans in Sundaram outside. So Shanti Vedika, where the Sai Sundareshwarar statue is right now. So there Swami was sitting, and we would sit and we sang bhajans in 2011 when Swami came into Chennai for Atirudram. One of those sessions in the mornings, the mic came to me. So it was my turn to sing, but Swami didn't see that. He was about to close the session. He was about to closing the session, etc. is very important. So because Swami, if he doesn't like a singer, he would stop even in the first speed. So normally now we sing at 2 speeds, right? So if the song was not to his expectations, he would even give a message to stop the bhajan in the first speed. So that used to be Swami's in terms of know how he would guide a singer, not just to give a message that if you don't practice, if you don't come prepared, that's another message. But the way that we used to practice and the way that you select a bhajan is very important for the day, and it has to suit to more important. That is very important. So Swami, the mic came to me, and Swami was about to push his footstool, and he looked at me, and the mic was near me. So immediately his face blew, and he started sitting. So the message was to me that Swami has given me permission to sing. So quickly I see, you don't have a chance because the shruti is fixed, the song is fixed, etc. But you can be smart when you know that Swami wants to go, but Swami has given me that loving thing to sit for my bhajan. So it's a chance. So you can take it anyway. So, but what I did was, that day I sang Jaya Panduranga Prabho Vittala. So that was the bhajan. The bhajan had 6 to 7 lines. You all know. Srimad Shriramani Hridayantaranga Mangalakara Ashrita Neela Janavan Ranga Jagadoda. So almost 8 to 9 lines. Ayyo, Priya Bhajan, Swami. So you know what quickly I did? I only sang once in the first bit. If you sing to Swami has something, okay, he is not going just because I got the mic, okay, he is going somewhere. He was going to Atildram, the Homam, and it was getting late, so he wants to take Harati, etc. So quickly I started singing that bhajan once. So Swami smiled at me after, because he knew that no, he didn't want to demotivate me by not giving a chance. So when he saw me having the mic, so he gave me that was the second round. Okay, so fact of the matter, Swami could have just finished the bhajan. So, but he still didn't want to demotivate me. So he gave me the chance. So quickly I had sung only once. So these are things that you pick up as messages to you. So you have, as a singer, you have to be sharp, you have to be concentrating on the bhajans, and more important, converse with Swami through your bhajan. So these are things which in Sundaram Bhajan Group, we try and tell people that these are things that a singer has responsibility, because responsibility is very, very huge, because there are with everything opening up in India, there are regular bhajan sessions happening everywhere. So there are crowds which are coming in. So one way that you can pull people is bhajans, having good satsang, good bhajans. So we make it a point that the quality of bhajans are good. So that's when we have to be little smarter in doing things. The selection of bhajans, the selection of singer, the practice sessions are very key. So these are things that we have learned through Swami in his journey as a student. Okay, so Swami has made us teach. So in one such incident, I have also flunked and I have missed a chance also to sing. Swami, where Swami made me showed sign to make me sing, but I missed the chance. So these things will happen. So these things will happen because finally you're a child there, and innocently you get carried away by Swami's physical presence there and his gestures. So it is very, very important that bhajan singer shoulders all these responsibilities when he conducts himself in a bhajan session. So bhajan is not a simple just singing 4-liner, 5-liner and going. He's got so much of responsibility. And finally, Swami, see, we keep us Swami's. We all know that Swami is sitting there. Why do we keep his throne there in every center? So he's physically there. So no other spiritual being has such a throne being kept in an altar, right? So it's a pure altar in every true sense. And only in Sai organization you see Swami's throne kept there. So we know that he is physically sitting here in the midst of any session, whether you have a sadhana camp, whether you have a study circle, or whether you have a bhajan session. So he's physically seated there, driving the session there. So that reminds me of my good old what Sathya brother introduced me on an evening where Swami made me as a Adi Shankara. So that episode was really, really hilarious in one sense, because the way that he selected the Shankaracharya was something mind-boggling. See, because normally all this used to be a closed door affair. When you select a hero of a drama, okay, you would do it in a closed room, right? So this boy, you will write the names, who are the boys who would do the lead role, etc., and you would select. But Swami on that day chose to select the drama, select the campus, and select the hero also there. So it was one of those evenings in 86, I think, 86. The convocation used to always have Swami students drama after the convocation, the institute convocation. And every time the Prashanthinilayam Campus would get the chance to do the drama, and it was a turn of Brindavan Campus. So Swami said in Telugu to that forum that principal was there. So principal was Professor Narendra. So very fine gentleman. He used to take English literature to us, and very, very fine gentleman. And he was the director and the script writer of Bhaja Govindam. The Bhaja Govindam drama has been done by three people at three different times. So I was the middle, always it's like middle, no? So middle one was me. The first one was Rupak Chankote, second was me, and the third one was Hirok Chankote. So all were tall. The only one who was short in the middle was me. So Swami somehow selected me in that role, but that was also purely, truly uh, something loving, because Swami, the way that he selected that evening, Swami said, let's do Brindavan Pillegal Cheyandi, Swami said. Then Swami asked Narendra, what drama? So the conversation was almost like informal. Boys were seated, and professor was right in the last row. And he got up and said, we'll do Bhaja Govindam. Cheyandi. Swami was very happy because it was done in 70s, and 15 years had passed after the first time that the drama was done. Swami used to like the drama because he has directed it in the first when Rupak Chankote acted. Swami said, fine, Cheyandi. Then Swami said, who will be the Shankaracharya? Because in those days, it is not like the current version of drama where you record everything in a studio, sing everything. So this used to be a live show where you will have to enact, you have to sing, etc. So Swami said, oh, Shankaracharya has to sing, he has to be good faced, good looking. So who will do that role? Swami asked that to Professor Narendra. So then he started saying one boy. Yeah, the first boy was always tall, and he used to sing very well. He used to be a Carnatic singer, and he was trained in Carnatic. Swami looked at him and said, he's very tall. He doesn't look like a Shankaracharya. So that was shot down. The second boy was very short. So he broad face also. Swami said, no. I don't, it will not suit him. So third was me, my turn. So Swami, professor said, Vasudevan. So Swami looked at me. Then he didn't say anything. And it was evening time. We started bhajan. Swami said he didn't want to continue. So 3 names is good enough for him. So the third name, no tick mark, no into also. So it was just Swami just started the bhajans. So that day I prepared for Sri Raghavam. Sri Raghavam Dasharathatmajam Aprameyam. So as I started singing that alap, Swami looked at the boys and said, he started visualizing now the first scene in the Adi Sankara Bhaja Govindam. The drama is titled Bhaja Govindam. So this is the first scene. Swami said, this is how the first scene should be. And he started singing the Stotram. When I was singing Sri Raghavam, Swami is singing something. And boys are all laughing. So I was singing, because you can't cut. No, when you're singing, Swami will think that as though I am cutting the alap. So Swami started singing. Shruti Shruti Puranana Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Lokamandhanam Sri Raghavam Dasharatha. So in the side, I was singing this, Swami was singing this, and people were laughing. So because I was concentrating on but I know that Swami was talking about something on the drama. So then later boys told me that this is what Swami had in his mind, and he was talking about the first scene in the drama. So he's already got into that subject of the drama. So when all this happened, Swami finished the bhajans, and that day went past. Boys were all teasing me in the hostel. So once you go back, always those good olds, you have the love and affection of the boys there in hostel. So once you go back, there were a lot of one side people are saying you are going to be, see, I'm telling you, you will be the Shankaracharya. So the moment all of them started telling me, my heartbeat went up, because I don't have all this. I know to sing this bhajans. That's what Swami has taught me in life. I don't know how to go act. I have never acted in any drama in the past. Okay. And that too in Swami, when in Purnachandra auditorium in front of a lakh of devotees, definitely no chance. So I was shivering. So I was just praying that, Swami, you decide, but I hope it's not me. So next day, we were all seated in darshan. Sai just outside the Trayee Brindavan. He used to be sitting in a line like this. Swami used to come and then go to the Sai Ramesh hall. Those days was the Krishna shed where Swami used to have bhajans. So Swami finished the bhajan. So when he was going, he went past me, and he went to the bhajans. So as he came back from bhajans, he finished the bhajans, and when he was coming back, I had a letter with me. In those days, all boys would converse something, personally with Swami, etc. So I had a letter with me, and Swami took that letter, stood just next to me, and said, he converses me in Tamil. So nadipiya, nee nadipiya. Swami asked, Are? Then I looked at Swami and said, Swami, Swami asked me, will you act? Then I looked at Swami and said, Swami, if you tell, I will definitely act, Swami. Because what else can you say? You can't say no. No, when Swami is asking the question, who will say no? So I looked at Swami and said, if you tell Swami, definitely I'll act. So then Swami went back inside and quickly sent word. He didn't tell me anything. So that question gave me the clue that the role was of Adi Shankara was coming to me. You won't believe. See, all these are something which makes you he embellishes one's life so beautifully, and I think he has given me that because not just because I can sing bhajans, or I was looking, my face was looking more closer to Adi Shankara. That's not because I was short. I had a lot of drawbacks in the way because in the way that Swami chose me also. But more important is see. I think my father. Okay, there are two messages. My father had a very close relationship with the Mahapariva, and that so when you look back, you take all those, right. So the connects are so solid that probably he wanted to send some message to me that see, I'm giving you this because of your father. Okay, and so that was a very I had taken that as a prasadam, because it doesn't see. Three times Swami has done the drama, and if you look back and see that and from that day onwards, Swami started calling me not with Vasu or Bhajan Singer or XY. He started calling me Shankaracharya. So even when in my good old MBA days, he will call me as only Shankaracharya. So the title also came along with the drama. So those are things, I think, unless you have that past blessings of your parents and Swami, you would not get all these as, and Swami made, and he is, the way you won't believe, that day evening, he started teaching me Bhaja Govindam. The evening session, Swami will sing Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam. He will sing that. I will have to follow that. So then, so each line he would teach me and I will follow, and not in a closed room, in the same Trayee Brindavan, in the evening session, in front of all the boys and teachers and guests there. He taught me Bhaja Govindam. So the message is that he loves his boys. He wants to be with, he ensures that the boys are the future, very, very torch bearers for his mission. And we all have, as students, we carry, like I kept telling, we shoulder a lot of responsibilities. And I think I must say that till the last breath of my life, the gratitude in which I would serve in any position or any, even as a devotee, I would carry a true gratitude to Swami till the last breath. I think that's samarpan. So that's the sacrifice, that's the dedication that I would call a true samarpan. So the drama went about with beautiful rehearsals with Swami around me. You won't believe, Swami on the D day, he even came to the dressing room and he started adjusting my dhoti. He put Rudraksha Mala around me. He did everything to me. And before the drama, he told the warden that I'm not eating well. He's looking like this. He's not getting good food from the canteen. So give him some Horlicks, etc. So you won't believe, every day I used to carry one flask, go to the warden's house. Warden's mother used to give Horlicks, and I used to come back and drink Horlicks at the cost of the Bhaja Govindam drama. So that used to be the love of Swami, the way that he took care. So all these are not just to show something, but to prove a point that Swami is love. The way that he wants perfection, because the way that when all those rehearsals, not only it is not just for my play alone or this play alone, but it has happened to a lot of students, a lot of plays around him. He would call Anjali Devi Amma, Sushila Amma. So a lot of those people also used to come, sit down for rehearsals along with Swami, and they used to also tell this scene, you should not be like this. No, used to teach us and train us. So the fact is that he looks out for perfection. He looks out for betterment. Okay, so that through practice sessions, through all this, he would want a good show before devotees. He doesn't want his students to muff anywhere. So he wants them to shine everywhere, and also that's something he loves it. So that was a beautiful experience with Swami, and not just finishing that, Bhagawan came back to Prashanthi, from Prashanthinilayam to Brindavan. That's a beautiful word I would never forget in my life, because in the after he came back from the birthday celebrations, Emma Sama had come down. Okay, not little knowing that I will have some chance to sing along with her. So who would think in our wildest of dreams that we would sing along with Emma Sama. So Swami said, "Hey, Emma Sama, வந்தாச்சு, Emma Sama வந்தாச்சு. நீங்க ரெண்டு பேரும் சேர்ந்து பாடுங்க, ஏந்திருங்க ஏந்திருங்கன்னு சொல்லி Swami asked me to sit almost close to her. Then she was sitting in the next room, and I was sitting before her, and we started. Swami said, "Bhaja Govindam padandi, padunga." So the problem is in Bhaja Govindam, there were very few stanzas that I had. See, these are things. So we only go by book. Okay, so Swami had selected only few stanzas. So I had got trained, and I knew only few stanzas. Not all the slokas that MS Amma had sung in the Bhaja Govindam. So we started singing Bhaja Govindam. 2-3 stanzas she started singing some other thing. I stopped it. So Swami looked at me. Ayo, ivarku theriyade. Everybody started laughing. Then no, adu venda rendu peru சேர்ந்து பாடுங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு then Swami made us sing Panchakshari mantra, Shiva Panchakshari mantra. So can I just sing that quickly before I close? Um, Nagendraharaya Trilochanaya Vasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya. Mandakini Sanila Chandana Chachitaya Nandishwara Pramata Nakamaheshwaraya Mandara Pushpabahu Pushpasupujitaya Tasmai Makaraya Namah Shivaya Shivaya Gauri Vadanabhya Brinda Suryaya Takshat Varanasakaya Srinilakantaya Vrishabhajaya Tasmai Sikaraya Namah Shivaya Vasishta Kumbha Bhagavamaya Munindra Deva Chitashekaraya Chandrarkavaishva Naralotanaya Tasmai Vakaraya Namah Shivaya Yakshaswarupaya Jatadharaya Pinakahastaya Sanatanaya Divyaya Devaya Digambaraya Tasmai Yakaraya Namah Shivaya Panchaksharamidam punyam yappate shiva sannido shivalokamavapnoti shivena sahamudhati. So this we sang together. So the moment we sang, it was something which nobody in life would get, because before divine Bhagawan, divine presence, singing with another divine personality, okay, who was a very divine personification of music, okay, with such a divine voice, who would get a chance? So truly was a outstanding moment for me in my life. Then Swami asked her to sing some kritis, and she took a namaskar and she left for the day. So as she proceeded, Swami looked at me and he plays, okay, Swami always plays with his children, okay. He asked a simple question. All these were, extemper. So Swami, you can't go prepared for anything. Okay, whether that evening I was not prepared for singing it anything. So we would go only prepare with some bhajans. But you have to be ready, which is why always be ready with Swami. You can even be pulled for speaking before Swami. So that I also had one chance like that. I was not prepared, but Swami made me sing and speak in one of those evening sessions. So you have to be ever prepared. So the moment she left, Swami looked at me and said, "Who is singing well? Yaar nalla paadiyache." No, Swami is Tamil is always good, sweet as he is. So yaar nalla paadiyache. And Swami, every people could pick up Swami's Tamil. So everybody started laughing away to glory that at my cost. So I thought today my D-Day only. So Swami is doing something through me. So obviously silence is gold. So keep quiet and look at Swami and internalize what Swami is trying to tell. So Swami moment, he looked at me beautifully, said, he always motivates. No, he will never ever say that you are not singing well, you are not doing things. He will never say that. He always ensures that his child keeps going. Okay, and he looks out for that. Okay, so obviously, so he didn't want to demoralize me. So he looked at me and said, "உங்க வயசுக்கு நீங்க நல்லா பாடியாச்சு, அவங்க எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்க்கு ரொம்ப நல்லா பாடியாச்சு." So what a beautiful way to end the evening, and I carry these messages even till today. And like I said, I have my gratitude till the last breath. So to that divine love, to that divine Bhagawan, who has been part of my life, and even till today, the way that we shared so much of love in our life. Okay, as even I take this path of parenthood where I uh, uh, ensure my children are guided properly, etc. I think Swami has been with us, the way that we showering his love and blessings. Uh, our gratitude will be there as a family to him till the very last breath. So I thought these informal gatherings, I always carry a touching point of this Sama incident, because that's something which till today it's recorded. It's recorded in one of those books in Sathya Sai speaks, or one of those books. It's there in one of those books. This very mainly on this incident, because Swami did shower his love through all his words to me. So very beautifully, after that, he gave me chance to study in his institute, carry on with his MBA program, and it has blessed me in my life, in my professional career. It has been part of me, and I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. All these are Swami's Sankalpam and his Prasadam. So always we think that we are doing a business or we are doing a profession, we think we are doing for somebody else or for me. But we have to think that that also is Swami's work. That is Swami's work. Each one of us, whatever we do, whether it is in our home or whether it is outside of their own organization or anywhere. So I think it's the Swami's work. It's just not our own organization work alone. We don't call it. So even your profession is Swami's work. That is his sankalpa. You have to do that. Swami says duty is work is worship. Duty is God. So you have to carry that. Carrying Swami's in your heart, you have to do the action, and so that's how I think we have to carry his message. And we are, like I said, we have a lot of responsibility, because the next generations would not have seen Swami, and we have that connect. We have seen, we have lived, we have heard him, and we have been associated with him. So we have a lot of responsibility as true devotees. And only prayer to all of you is let's take this as our responsibility. Whether you do a bhajan, whether you a service, whether it be an organization member or a senior, each one of us have Swami's task cut out. So let's do this in our best abilities and love with him, on keeping love alone in our hearts, and do that. See, finally, Swami, the entire the bhajans, everything is much. I keep telling to myself that we are always, in that kavacham. So Swami is the kavacham is nothing. Our bhajan is a kavacham. Service wing is a kavacham. Medical wing, education wing is a kavacham. Because all these are having a boundary. All this are something which is protecting us for ages to come. So Swami himself being the core point of the kavacham. So that Sai Kavacham is what will take us, will protect us and carry us for ages to come. So we don't need to be worried that so many external factors, changes can happen. But since we are Swami devotees, we have Swami in us. I think keep that as a core in our life and carry on. I think all our duties, all everything will become successful. Many thanks, Sathya brother. I hope I've taken the right time to address the audience.
You still have time, so we would like to definitely listen to anything else that you would like to share.
So if anything else that any of you have in terms of because I So because this can carry on and on. Swami's satsang is something which each say. I always say that it's bliss. No, we have this bhajan. Anandame Sai Namame Adbhutame Sai. So it's a Swami's Charitra. Swami's life itself is so blissful, and we can keep going on and on this. So. So that's what we love to be hearing, and hearing about Swami's stories and experiences. And each one of us have our own experience. Not that my experience has been. I'm sure the devotees who are present in this satsang or outside have carried much more than all this, because this is what, as a true innocent boy, I have rattled all this to this audience. But people are having unique experience. Swami's life has been like that. So each one of us have our own way of connecting with Swami and our own experience. And day to day, I'm sure Swami has cured so many people, even now protected so many people. So even till date, people think that Swami's only physical presence is not there. But we know that in our lives, he has guided us. They showed us that he is around us, with us, and given that confidence in life. So physical presence is no more. We have him in every part now. So he's listening here, he's sitting here and hearing me talking whatever good or bad, I think. So he's listening to this conversation. So that's the faith. That's prayer. The next thing which I missed saying is on prayer. So prayer is very, very important. I once remember Sanjay Sani, professor, saying, when he started a speech, he said, prayer is man's only strength, okay, but God's only weakness. So very powerful. So Swami is also like that. So the moment, if there are times that Swami would show his anger through not speaking, not seeing, etc. So he would ignore. Swami is actor. He's a big actor. So he would avoid students also. But if he wants to say that somebody has done some nonsense in the college or outside, etc., he would not talk to those boys. And he will not only give to that person, he will give it to the entire students community there. So he would ignore. So he would. So there, the moment if you want to connect to Swami, always is good bhajans. So sing, soulful bhajans, and Swami will accept, and he will say, no, you guys are mine, you are me, and I am. So that dialogues will start coming in. So there are so many bhajans like that. So all of you know also. Nandalala, Nandalala, Daya Karu Bhagawan. All these are pure soulful bhajans. So there are so many very good compositions in Sai bhajans. So we use it whenever we require. So when those days when Swami used to have these, sessions where he would ignore, etc., we will sing all these bhajans and we cry and make him also feel that, that no, boys are really good. They're loving. So Swami will come down. So like what Sanjay Sani sir said, our only strength is only prayer. So our strength is only prayer. So even now, what will take us in this journey of life to the other side of ocean is only prayer. I think that's what Sai organization and Swami's mission also is. So through prayer, one's own personal sadhana. So I'm coming to the other side where each one of us have our own sadhana in life. The way you do whatever you do for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, Swami says every day you sleep for 6 hours, you work for 6 hours, you go around for 6 hours, but you don't have time for 1 hour for me also in every day. So what kind of person you are? So Swami is one of those discourses. So we have to spend that personal sadhana connecting to him. It's not just Thursday, Sunday, bhajans alone when you really look at him and start singing. So every day allocate some time, and we need to have that conversation through our own sadhana in whatever way, small way, because that's what uh, connects you with them and also transforms you inside. So these are things are very important. So that's how the prayer, I think faith and prayer go hand in hand, and have that trust in Swami and have that prayer. And that's the only weakness for Swami also. Even now, he's there in every bhajan session and every service that we carry on. I think he's around looking at us, guiding us, and guiding us. So very, very true. And as I, I might be young to all of you in terms of age, but in terms of I think these are things that Swami will like, that we carry on his mission through all these things. So he started saying, "My life is my mission," but if you look at my message, but if later on he said, "Your life is my message." So very, very the way in which we live our life, the way that we carry his message through our living is what is will show that Swami's divinity, and the legacy will have to carry on and on through us. And if we were to do that, we shoulder a lot of responsibility as devotees. Thank you, Sathya, brother. I think wonderful time, and I try to.
No, it is our bliss. And you've been so fortunate to be part of some of the largest institution in propagating Swami's Namasmarana message, right? So is there anything unique that you would like to share with us that could be our learning? Because Sundaram Bhajan's Brindavan Bhajan Group, Parthi Bhajan Group, so there are such unique lessons that are there for everybody. And especially in today's world, as you rightly mentioned, when there is youth who has not seen Bhagawan physically to have been attracted. So, but these institutions continue to attract so many of the youth. You know, even the other day I was at Mother A.K. Kumar's birthday celebration, so I got to meet the youth there. So what exactly happens there? So is there some lesson that we all could learn, take back to implement?
See, very simple. So I keep telling this to boys also, because see, our Sai Bhajans is very simple, okay, and it carries a lot of people love Sai Bhajans. So even they don't mind. So these days you see every household loves Sai Bhajans. Not just well, it's very simple. It's not like a Kirtana. Okay, our bhajans are very unique. So it is like it is not like one-way traffic. Our bhajans. Okay, so there is a follow, there is a lead and a follow. So that's the structure of Sai bhajans. So beautifully, Swami has structured it. Okay, and this is purely important because the bhajan not just helps to charge the vibes of everybody sitting there. But very important is, I always say for the week you goes to Sundaram Singh, attend a bhajan, you charge the battery. Okay, so your battery in yourself is charged for the week, and you come out very fresh when you come in the weekend, etc. So our bhajan session, a bhajan singer and youth, whoever, practice is very important. So I keep telling practice is very important, because there are so many devotees who look forward for an evening bhajan session coming to Sundaram or elsewhere, any center. Okay. So they want to hear good bhajans. They want to be with one with Swami. So that's more important. They want to enjoy and be one with Swami, and also follow. So when you have to make them follow, you can't take up bhajans which are very tough. We can't sing complicated language bhajans, etc. You have to sing simple bhajans where everybody can follow. It has to also be very newer versions of bhajans. It has to be a bhajan selected which are well known to people. So these are things which bhajan as a coordinator, I always have all this in my mind. Practice well. A singer and a song has to go well. You can't pick up any bhajan and sing anywhere. You can sing at your home, in your home, but you can't truly give any bhajan to anybody, because there are certain I cannot sing something which I've not practiced, nor I will not take up something which will not be in my genre, right? So always there is a limitation to individual. So we need to realize that and only select bhajans which can be sung well by one. So these are things that a youth should think, because you're not there to show off there, and there is no show off in Swami's bhajan, because the Swami will then make you, drag you down and make you whatever good singer you will get it back from Swami. So you should never go with that feeling. So you practice well, pick up songs which will come to you, where you can render it positively well. So these are things that you should, and more important is there is always singer to song is very important. So I keep telling this, you can't pick up anything that you want to sing, right? So there is a restriction. So I can't be singing something which I can't, I know that I will not do justice to it. So these are things where Namasmarana to a youth, that to people who are singing now, they have to be knowing that practice and sing what you are good to. Okay, don't pick up something. And when you're a new singer, you start from the simplest of the songs. See, even today, a simplest bhajan can be very powerful and very good to people. It will connect to devotees also. Simple, just sing simple bhajans. Govinda Murahari Madhava Gopala Govinda Gopala Keshava. Simple, Namasmarana. Okay, but it will go, everybody will follow well. But I'm not saying every bhajan has to be like that. There has to be some bhajan. Sai Baba. So you'll have to sing some complicated bhajans also, but the singer has to practice, and he should give justice to the bhajan. So that is what is important. So it is not that anybody can sing any bhajan. So that is something a no to bhajan. So these are things, I think you will have to have these well structured rules and games that one should follow in a Sai bhajan. It is not just to show off and one's prowess. You have to, whoever be it, there is a rhythm, there is a bhavam, there is a strict rule that you have to, there is a boundary in which one has to have that. So you do that and lovingly tell them that this song will not suit you, and you can pick up this song, etc. So that's how we try and do this in our satsang. And very clearly that finally what do you want? So you want good quality of bhajans and also participation. So you want the devotees to follow and sing, right? If the bhajan session becomes dragged and people don't follow, then you know that somewhere the bhajan is not stuck today. But on the contrary, if you have good participation, full-throated participation, that is what Swami is looking at, because a satsang, a Sai bhajan is always lead, follow, and you just forget yourself and follow. So there is also a role of follow in bhajans. So people sitting who are not singing as a lead singer, don't think that you're not getting a chance. So as a follow, you still have a lot of responsibilities, because a follow on a mic is different. That embellishes a bhajan, okay? Because in the speaker, when you hear a follow also singing very well, it shows that it will finally look good and it will sound good. So both lead and follow has a lot of responsibilities in a true bhajan platform. And in our Sai bhajans, these are things that we look at. We also look at different beats, different ragas, because moods will have to be different. Every song, every singer has a different thing. So we have to ensure that the mood of the bhajan also is taken forward to a next level. So these are things as a convener I look for in every bhajan session, and this is how we train the boys, and this is how we pick up bhajans for a session. So in fact, today evening, looking at who the boys who would come there, we would select the bhajans, we practice the bhajans, and then we know, because that's not important, because you'll have Mahila singing some bhajan. So there has to be, cannot be a clash of bhajans in terms of not the same bhajan, but the tone of the ragam, the tone, it should not, it can't be same feel, right? So I can't sing the same feel of bhajans next to next because it becomes boring for people. So always you distribute these bhajans well in a bhajan session well. The end has to be real charged up. You can't sing slow bhajans during the end of the session. These are things which we have in terms of message to the younger generation, because finally all these bhajans is only but like I said, conversation with Swami, and don't feel that you are taking a simple bhajan or a long bhajan or a complicated bhajan. It is finally that offering to Swami. So that he is there, whether you're singing 4-liner or 5-liner or 6-liner. So he is sitting there for both the bhajans. So more important is to bring out a good quality session in every satsang. So that's what we look forward in the Namasmarana satsang.
So beautiful, so beautiful. Thank you so much. Are there any questions from any of us, any other devotees?
Sundaram Brother Sathya, Sundaram Brother Vasudevan. It was, I should just say before I just put in a request that very fortunate to be listening to you. And what came across my mind is that the vibes I get with Swami's picture in your backdrop is DHL. What I mean by DHL is you send a vibration of discipline that I've heard, which is very very characteristic of Sundaram, right? And you transmit so much of humility and love. So it has been, we are very fortunate. Okay, I have one question. Yeah,
yes, brother.
Yeah. We learn from every advice and Swami's words that comes to the instruments. Can you for us share the most closest to the heart bhajan from Bridge Across Times, which you think it is? Can you just sing for us, whichever is close to your heart? I mean, I'm sure there will be many, but that could be one. Sairam, thanks.
Sai Ishvara Jagadishvara, Sai Ishvara Jagadishvara, Parameshvara Partishvara, Parameshvara Partishvara, Sai Ishvara Jagadishvara, Karunamaya Jaganmohana, Karunamaya Jaganmohana, Saleshwara Bhuvaneshwara, Kailasnath Maheshwara, Kailasnath Maheshwara, Sai Ishvara Jagadishvara. I truly like this bhajan because the feel that it connects to Bhagawan with a different tempo, with different rhythm, etc. One of our own Sundaram Bhajan Group member had composed this bhajan, and when I sang this this bhajan to Bridge Across Time, I could feel that this bhajan is going to be liked with all the devotees, and so the pure the bhavam in which he is composed. I don't know whether I sang it in that to that extent, but it has reached far and wide, and people, I think the devotees know this bhajan, and they've been singing this bhajans everywhere in every part of the world. So this is something very close to me as a Bridge Across Time, and I love this bhajan quite because it really connects you if you're sitting alone, so you can download and see enjoy this bhajan.
Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, we were instantly connected. Yeah, could connect to your Baba as well. Thank you so much.
Sairam, Brother Gururaj. Thank you so much for getting us to listen to this beautiful bhajan. Are there any other questions from anybody else?
Thank you. I think it's been a wonderful evening. See, I keep saying the Swami's stories, the experiences are phenomenal. Each one of us have our own way, our own connect with Swami. And just to memorize and just to share these experiences and partake in a satsang like this charges you and also goes back in memories in terms of how we have lived our lives with Swami. And like I said, gratitude, nothing but gratitude, and we continue to take this part of what Swami has laid for us. And thank you, Brother, for this lovely opportunity. Saram to all of you.
Thank you so much. As you rightly mentioned, it charges us, it re-energizes us. And the Sundays, evenings, these satsangs energizes, carries on for another week before we get energized again. And the beauty of, as you said, Swami is not predictable. We still don't know who our speaker for next week is. Okay, it's always like that. So he keeps it guessing for us. But we know that the bliss is there. Definitely, he's going to bring somebody around. It was so beautiful, brother, for sharing these unique experiences, singing the Shiva Panchakshari Stotram to Shiva himself. I don't know how many will be blessed, but listening to you, we could visualize ourselves being present there today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we look forward to many more sessions. Please do share with us whenever you are available. Okay, as you rightly mentioned, there is so much more to share. We would love to listen to it. Okay, and maybe with Swami's grace, we all get to meet each other physically very soon as well and listen to all of your beautiful experiences and singing. I know you are off to the next duty at Sundaram. We don't want to delay you further. So we will close this session with three Samastha Loka. And thank you, Swami, for this beautiful session. Thanks for bringing us to you once again. Om Samastha Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastha Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastha Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Sairam, to all of you. Have a pleasant evening.
Sairam.
Look forward to seeing you all again next Sunday. Sairam. Sairam.